Good morning. There was once a builder who had worked for years and was tired. He told his employer he wanted to retire. After all the years they had worked together, the employer was sad to see his worker leave, so he pleaded with the builder to do one last job before he left. This was not what the builder had expected. It was a Friday and he had hoped for a clean break so he could immediately start fishing that weekend. But instead, he was going to start building a 4-bedroom house on Monday. All throughout that final project, the builder moaned and groaned and grumbled. His heart was simply not in his work. All he could think about was all the time he was not spending on the bank of the peaceful river behind his house, casting his rod out to the obliging fish. He really didn't want to be digging foundations and mixing cement, so he took out his frustrations on the job, cutting corners and using inferior materials just to get the job done quickly and go home. Whomever ended up living there would certainly be in for some nasty surprises, but the builder would be long gone by then, so he didn't care. Eventually, the house was built, and his employer, the contractor, came to inspect the work. After a quick walk around the property, the builder handed the keys to his employer. To his surprise, however, the employer handed them right back to the builder and said, "This house is my gift to you for all your years of service." You can certainly imagine the sense of horror that overcame the builder when he realized that all the shoddy work he had done was for himself. He wished with all his heart that he had known in the beginning he was building for himself. Now he would have to live in this hastily constructed death trap. My dear friend, there are far too many of us living the life of this builder. We approach our work with such a lack of care, mainly because, well, it's not our own company. We treat customers anyhow because they're not our customers. We abuse office equipment, write on furniture, desecrate communal toilet facilities, abuse and misapply and misappropriate funds. We abuse staff, all because none of it is our property. We complain about our jobs no matter how high we climb the corporate ladder or however much we're paid. As far as we're concerned, there are better things we could be doing with our time, so we don't want to spend an hour longer than we have to at work. What we haven't yet realized is that we're actually doing this damage. All this shoddy work we're putting in is going towards building our own death trap. Whenever we put up a poor performance at work, when we're stealing money from the coffers, when we're being rude to the customers, when we're turning up late, when we're on Facebook instead of on task, whose company are we collapsing? And whose country is this anyway? Isn't it ours? So when we're littering, when we're defecating on the beach, when we're driving above the speed limit through red lights, when we're insulting people just because they have different beliefs from us, when we're threatening each other's lives just because we want them to vote like us, whose country are we destroying anyway? Or are we thinking like the builder that the problems we are causing will not manifest until after we are long gone? Think again, my friends, because we're not destroying someone else's life or company or country by not being our best. You can't destroy what you don't first possess. It's our own lives that are about to come crashing around our ears if we don't wake up and take ownership of our mess. For me, the rule is simple. It's better to do it right from the very beginning, because one of these days, someone is going to hand you the keys and tell you to occupy your own mess. My name is Kojo Yankson, and I own this, so I handle it with care. Good morning, Ghana.
And welcome. Let's take you through the news this hour. As schools reopen amidst multiplying COVID-19 cases, many children across the East Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region have had to choose between getting an education and being safe. Without school infrastructure in their communities, the children are forced to walk several miles to attend school in nearby communities without face masks or any personal protective items to fight COVID-19. JoyNews' correspondent Elias Utanko observed low adherence to COVID-19 safety precautions in schools and students lying on their bellies to take lessons due to inadequate desks and classrooms.
On the third day of school reopening, JoyNews observed a very low observance of COVID-19 safety protocols in most public schools in the municipality. These children were seen trekking from Yaruyili about 3 kilometers to attend school at Langbinsi. They were all without face masks.
I'm coronavirus, and I'm coronavirus.
Nabole nyele.
Anyala duru.
Ka face mask ba.
Kala are dinga da face mask. Lancha kanka face mask ma.
These children also have been walking from their village of Nayoko almost 5 kilometers to attend Niga Primary School. Ka face mask ba. I don't have money.
Face mask.
Can no mask. I left my face mask at home. I was in a hurry, so I left the face mask at home. At the EA Primary School in Nalirgu, these scenes were observed. The children were not only without face masks, but had no desks and were forced to lie on their bellies to take lessons. Some of the children and teachers spoke to JoyNews. I don't have one. We need nose masks and chairs. We need hand sanitizer, face masks, and also chairs. We don't have chairs. We sit on this wood to take lessons. At the Baptist Primary School, similar situation was observed.
We don't have chairs. Even the upper primary, we don't have chairs.
However, the situation was totally different at Nabongo Junior High School, where majority of the school children were on their face masks. There was also a provision for hand washing and sanitizing at the school.
It's all as a result of advocacy. Morning assemblies, we have been talking to the students about the dangers of the COVID-19.
Most of the school teachers told JoyNews their headmasters had traveled to the Education Directorate at Gambaga to convey their share of the PPEs, which they said were sent in by government. But all attempts to speak to the municipal education authorities were unsuccessful. Ilyasu Tanko reporting for JoyNews.
It's common knowledge that the coronavirus pandemic has adversely affected many sectors of the economy, and the agri sector has not been left out. But agri economists are asking farmers to change their strategies to ensure better yields. They were contributing to a discussion at the 72nd Annual New Year School and Conference held at the University of Ghana. Judith Awachitando reports.
The conference was held on the theme Building Ghana in the Face of the Global Health Crisis. Agri-economists took turns to outline the impact of the pandemic on the sector and proffer solutions at overcoming the accompanying challenges. Head of agribusiness firm Guzakuza, Nana Ajwa Sika Amponsa, urged farmers to employ advisory services to boost their businesses. Agricultural economist Prof. Irene Eju observed the COVID-19 pandemic was an eye-opener to many in the industry. According to her, it has taught them relevant lessons to change their strategy and improve their produce.
It has exposed our weaknesses. I wouldn't say that COVID, for instance, has caused the shortages or the low supply we are seeing now. It's been there every year. Agri goes through cycles because we are not using the right implements to manage soil health.
She urged farmers to explore other food sources instead of focusing on the few popular ones.
There are a lot of unexplored food sources for us Ghanaians that we should continue to give enough attention to in terms of research, extension, and all the things that we do for maize and rice. We have probably concentrated too much on too few food commodities and believe that agriculture is just about these foods. Even the livestock, it is not only cattle, sheep, and goats.
Mrs. Eju also called on private institutions to complement government's efforts by investing in the agricultural sector.
Government has given a little money, at least, under planting for food and jobs, and the planting for export and rural development, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. Small monies have gone. I wish that the private sector, the Isikafor, will now push further what government has soon. But it appears the private sector itself is not responding. Former organizations are not responding. That is my problem.
Judith Awachitando for Joy News.
Now, the Supreme Court has set January 26 to commence hearing of the substantive case contained in the 2020 election petition filed by the NDC's John Mahama. The former president's lawyers, however, say this directive by the court is problematic because they have various applications before the justices that remain outstanding. Mr. Mahama is in the apex court seeking to annul the result of the 2020 elections, which went in favor of the NPP's Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Court correspondent Joseph Akable sat through proceedings on Wednesday as the court affirmed its commitment to completing the petition within 42 days.
The Apex Court has settled on 5 questions it believes goes to the heart of this election petition. They have to do with 1, whether or not the petition discloses any reasonable course of action. 2, whether or not, per the data available, any candidate obtained more than 50% of the votes cast. 3, whether or not the second respondent obtained more than 50% of the votes cast by the exclusion or inclusion of Techiman South constituency results, whether or not the declaration was in violation of the Constitution, and finally, whether or not the alleged vote pardon affected the results as declared. The court then proceeded to issue some orders about how the trial should proceed.
The registrar shall ensure service of the submissions of the preliminary objections by the close of the day on Friday, the 22nd of January 2021. C. The petitioner shall file any response to the submission of the preliminary objection by noon on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. D. The registrar shall ensure service of the petitioner's response by the close of the day on Monday, the 25th of January 2021. E. Ruling on the preliminary objection will be incorporated in the judgment of the court. Timelines. The court shall sit on Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021 for hearing of this petition.
Lawyers for the petitioner, however, had some concerns about the timelines that were announced by the court. Lead counsel Chachuchi Kata addressed the court on that issue.
I do know about the schedule provided, but I also know that your lordships are here to administer justice, and that justice must not be sacrificed for expedition.
President Akufo-Addo's legal team, however, says it all forms part of approaches or moves to delay the court. Frank Davis is a member of the legal team.
Of course, expedition is justice. You don't come to court with a set of rules and you want to circumvent and obviate the rules by your own careless abandon. How do you come to court with a petition and you don't know that you have to file a witness statement? You don't know that you have to settle a memorandum of issues?
Mr. Mohammed's lawyers, however, disagree. Marietta Buapia-Opon addressed the media.
Please note that under the rules, the schedule, there's 5 days for pre-trial. Today is the second day.
So what's the rush for?
So what is the rush? Today is the second day for pre-trial.
The case is back in court on Tuesday, 26th of January 2021. Reporting for JoyNews from the Supreme Court, my name is Joseph Akable.
And back here in the studio, I'm Gifty Andopia, continuing with the news. And the Food and Drugs Authority says it has information that some supposed COVID-19 vaccines are in circulation in the West African sub-region and being sold to unsuspecting persons. The authority is therefore cautioning the citizenry against purchasing such vaccines since it has not approved any for use in Ghana. The Volta Regional Director of the FDA, Gordon Akurugu, disclosed this at the news conference in Ho on Wednesday.
The authority also wants to sound a warning to all pharmaceutical companies who are peddling around, selling vaccines and claiming it is for COVID. The authority has not yet approved any vaccine for COVID. In due course, plans are far advanced for the authority to give approval to a vaccine that will be used in Ghana. I think we don't have, but like there's a circular on social media people were selling. Also, we have gotten an information from Nigeria, our partners, regulators, that they had information that some group of people have brought a vaccine to Nigeria, which national security shared with us to also monitor at the border. So most of these things are peddling, marketing on social media that you can get the vaccine, but we also want people to be aware that there's nothing approved for use in Ghana.
Fred Kwame Asare with that report. And I'm returning with the newspaper review. Animwa Animado will be joining me. I'm Gifty Andopia. And welcome back. This is the AM show. I'm Gifty Andopia. I'm doing this with Animwa Animado. This is the time where we do the newspaper review, give you an idea what the newspapers are selling, and tell you where you can find it. Well, yeah. What you can find where anyway.
What you can find. Okay, well, let's just go straight into it because there are a lot of stories that we want to cover this morning. With the daily graphic, so on the front page, baby harvesting syndicate busted. They include 2 doctors and 4 nurses. Election petition, Supreme Court outlines roadmap for trial. Local trial of COVID-19 vaccine is critical. That's according to Professor Dodu. And COVID-19 fund mobilizes over 57 million Ghana cedis. Let's go to the center spread. 5,000 public accountants undergo training. That story about the COVID-19 fund mobilizing over 57 million Ghana cedis. Also in the middle page, prioritize culture for national development. UNESCO urges the government. And on the back page, Nete wins day for Kotoko. Exciting news. So Asante Kotoko earned a valuable 1-0 victory over Ebusia Dwarfs. So congratulations there. And 25 goals on opening day. The 2021 Women's Premier League has started. Those are the headlines. Maybe we can come back to this. I'm sure you have
baby syndicate busted. Yes, well, yeah. yes, I do have it. And I think that we'll be talking about it, extensively along the line as we go. But the Ghanaian Times, this is how it reports it. It has pictures of the 2 doctors. In particular, Dr. Hope Mensah Kwashi says busted. Dr. Noah Kofi Lati busted. Police crack syndicate. 2 doctors, 4 nurses, 5 others grabbed. That story is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Joe Biden sworn in as 46th President of the United States. Page 17 has that story. And President appoints Jubilee House staff, retains Frema Oseo Pare, Nana Bedietu Ahin. Others. It's also on page 17. On Tachu urges SC not to sacrifice justice for expedition. That story is on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Let's check out the center spread. And the center spread has stories on the New Year's School. At the New Year's School, Ghana needs to plan for future pandemics. That's coming from Professor Kouote. Support smallholder farmers to boost agriculture productivity. So those are the themes of discussion at the New Year's School. And President appoints Jubilee House staff. You have the full story here on the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. So it has a picture of Nana Asante Bedietu, Secretary to the President, Dr. Isaac Owusu Mensah, Director of Research, and Brigadier General Emmanuel Ochri, the National Security Advisor. Joe Biden sworn in as 46th President of the United States. That story is there as well. Check out the back page. UER, Upper East Region districts to be enrolled on RFJ initiative. I'm not sure what that RFJ is. Let's see if I can find it here. It's the Rearing for Food, right, Rearing for Food and Jobs initiative. Okay, so Upper East Region district to be enrolled on that program. And 5,000 accounting officers trained in an international program. Grab yourself a copy, the Ghanaian Times, if you're interested in any of those stories.
Okay, so let's move on to the Daily Guide. That story on the front page as well. 2 doctors, 4 nurses grabbed for selling 2 babies. Trump out, Biden takes over the U.S. And apparently when Trump was leaving on Wednesday, he said So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not too sure how he intends to come back, but
well,
he's.
I heard he wants to form his own political party.
Well, we'll see about that. But he's been impeached twice. The only president to ever have been impeached twice.
I tell you.
And 400,000 people dead from coronavirus under his watch, and more out of work than when he was sworn in.
And he's also the first president to snub the inauguration.
I think the inauguration snubbed him. Actually wanted him there. I can't remember who it was. One of the, not sure, it was one of the former presidents who actually said yesterday that they were glad that he didn't show up. He would just have been a dark cloud over what was a very beautiful event, including Lady Gaga belting out their sick.
But seriously, I know.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
Donald Trump.
Okay.
I'm with you.
You're with Donald Trump? Really? Okay, I see. Other stories on the front page of the Daily Guide. Mahama versus Nana. 5 key issues to judge. So we have the Muhammad's 12 Questions movie, which we're expecting. And now there's the 5 key issues to judge as well. It should be an interesting couple of months after this trial. President names first appointees. That's on the front page of the Daily Guide. Okay, in the middle page, there's some entertainment. Miss Bell wanted us to kill Ifya Schwarzenegger. That's Nayewe, alleging. Okay, so Nayewe is a shrine in Jamestown.
Hey.
And they've responded to fraud allegations leveled against its high priest by Miss Bell. If you're interested in this story, just by the Daily Guide.
But seriously, can we read the first paragraph? I'm interested.
Okay. The controversial songstress, that's Miss Bell, alleged on UTV over the weekend that she took a case involving Ifya Schwarzenegger to the high priest to adjudicate, and she was made to pay a sum of 2,000 cedis. But the priest failed to have the job done, hence her fraud tag against the shrine. So Miss Bell said the shrine has frauded her, if that's a
defrauded her.
Defrauded her, yes, exactly. It's just weird. Yeah. Okay. Bust is ready to export their products. Ex-factory price inflation records 7%. On the back page, I am the man for Man U, and that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've heard people pronounce it, so I've never actually said it out loud myself. But he's saying that he is the right man to manage Manchester United. I'm sure when we do the sports, you get a lot more of that. And Kotagogo third with Dwarfs win. Of course, if you want to support a Ghanaian team, it must be Kotoko.
It must be.
Yes.
Hasakes and other things. Anyway, I have the Daily Statesman. Daily Statesman has a picture of one of the ladies I admire, Frima Oseopari. Government committed to human rights in COVID-19 fight. That story is on page 2. And Nanadra Otredako wins scholarship from 30% Club P3. I'm not sure what that story is about, but it must certainly be an important story to be given this prominence.
Well, I do believe that's Gabi's wife.
Wife, yes.
And we do believe that's his newspaper.
Oh, of course, of course.
So, of course, his wife is on the front page of the newspaper.
Well, I just
I
think there's merit. I think there has got to be merit somewhere.
Tell us the story then.
It's on page 3. Let's see. Okay, so he says the managing partner of ALA, one of Ghana's leading corporate law firms and director of Gab Productions Limited, publishers of the Daily Statesman newspaper, Nanadra Otredako, has been awarded an executive MBA scholarship by the 30% Club. By this award, Nanadra, who is earning more, who is pursuing an executive MBA. Okay, all right. So
I thought
story. No, this is about women empowerment. This is about women empowerment, quite frankly. Okay. And not a lot of people. I mean, my only concern is that the story is making the front page, but I can understand the ties there. It does explain a lot. But congratulations to her. Not a lot of women go on with further studies.
As in MBAs, executive MBA.
Oh yes, but because you're in Accra. You're talking because you're in Accra.
Yes, madam.
Yes, but these are, anyway.
Women empowerment.
I just don't think.
Great stuff.
I just don't think it deserved the front page.
The front page.
Yes.
Well, we should go and, if we want to dictate the front pages, we should go and buy our own newspaper and publish.
Oh no, that's why. I mean, it's our opinion. It's my opinion. I'm sharing. I mean, that's why we're doing the review.
Yes,
we review the papers and we share our opinion. My opinion is that it's great. It's a great story. Congratulations to her. But I don't think it has to be on the front page, especially Anyway, all right. Judges set out issues for petition. The story is on page 2. As Supreme Court orders Mahama to file witness statement today. 2 top doctors, nurses arrested over baby sale, page 2. Statement doesn't add the pictures of those arrested. And yeah, there's an obituary at the end, center spread. Take a quick look at that. And there's a story here about we want to bury Rawlings in Anglo State. I think others have also reported, other newspapers have also reported that particular angle. Center spread, stakeholders notified to register to trade under AFCFTA, and TWWU urges Forestry Commission to review forest entry permits, which a lot of people believe we have flouted so much here in Ghana. Well, the Daily Statesman, if it's your choice, you can grab it. They have other stories there as well.
Gifty, so I found a very interesting piece in the middle page of the Business and Financial Times. What do these First Ladies' portraits reveal about them? So the pictures
Is that a story?
Yes,
okay.
Pictures of presidents' wives, so the U.S. president's wives, from past to present, tell a lot about their personalities, their values, and the U.S. Cat Pound explores the many depictions of an often controversial role. So, of course, there's Julia Tyler, there's Betty Ford, there's Hillary Clinton as First Lady, there's Mamie Eisenhower, and then, of course, there's Martha Washington. And it's interesting because for a lot of these First Ladies in those times, the thought of being president as a woman in the U.S. was almost unheard of. And so they were looking forward to having the soft power that came with being the president's wife to see how much influence that it could exert. But it's very interesting because it tells where we've come from and how amazing it is that yesterday we had the first Black and South Asian woman come in as vice president.
That's right.
And of course, it does mean that, God forbid, though, if anything happens to Joe Biden or if he's out of town, basically she's the president.
Of the
so we have
United
a lot to celebrate in terms of how far women have come. But it's also to remember that we've always had a certain soft influence, which is priceless.
I agree.
And yes, if used properly. One of my favorite quotes is a quote by I can't remember who, but it says, "She stoops to conquer." And it's always reminded me that, as women, we do have a certain power that comes from. Anyway, so enough of that. Business and Financial Times. FWSC wants deeper discussions to stem growing splinter labor unions. Shipping line rates must change. Enforce protocols. Focus on revenue generation. That's Professor Korte. Not further borrowing to burden the debt stock. And on the back page, EPA zeal to operate lab for petroleum industry in Takoradi, and something about AFCTA and Blackbridge Consulting. If you'd like more information, please get the Business and Financial Times. You can find everything that we've talked about in there.
Okay. And let me continue with the Business Finder. The Business Finder's banner headline: boom for fruits, vegetables growers, or fruits and vegetable growers, is on page 2. It comes with a picture of Felix Kamasan, who's the president of VPIG, as demand for UK. Okay, so boom for fruits, vegetable growers as demand for UK increases. And banks won't regret providing us support. That's from potato farmers crying out. And COVID-19, 5 MMDAs equipped to build back better. Story is on page 4. Let me just take a look at the inside pages. There's a TUC story here TUC calls for increased collaboration to stem destruction of Ghana's forests. Very important story, I should say. And here there is insurance scheme crucial, but a story there is by Dr. Kofi Amponsa, my former lecturer. I'm sure he's making an argument. You want to take a look at that story. Aviation sector, from an appendage to mainstream, comes with a picture of President Akufo-Addo. I'm not sure what he's saying there, but will ensure safe, secure campuses. That's according to Academic City. And let me wrap up with this one. No, there was a story that I found that I thought I'd share. If I don't find it, we'll just move right ahead. But yeah, AGI. AGI says it is troubled with the rising COVID-19 cases and implications on demand of goods. Certainly goes all the way down to affecting our economy as well. So we need to mask up. Anyone? Okay,
well, if we have time, I'd like to do this story. Teachers face daunting task enforcing COVID-19 protocols. So a cross-section of teachers from public basic schools have expressed, this is in the Business and Financial Times. I'm done with my headlines, so going into the Business and Financial Times, a cross-section of teachers from public schools have expressed their concern about what will be a daunting task enforcing the COVID-19 protocols. Do you know something that I didn't think of until I actually went to one of the basic schools? How much time in the morning is going to take teachers to take the temperature of all the children in the school?
To get them in there.
Yes, so 825 students where their temperatures were being taken by 6 teachers.
Oh.
It took them about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Because so they'll take the temperature, then they'll write the name and write the temperature. And they have to do this every single morning.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously the first line, you know, at which you're able to tell what's happening and whether the kids are sick or not.
The possibility that they'll skip this as we go along, they'll get tired and skip.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not, for me, it's not too bad because the thermometer gun itself and checking the temperature itself has proven not extremely
useful.
In determining whether or not.
Maybe not consistent, but we can't. I'm not saying. I mean, I think for me, it's very important to encourage the wearing of masks. But whether or not it's feasible, you know, to check 800 students every day, every morning,
that's what makes me.
So I mean, the reality of that was, and then of course there was all the shouting, the wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask, pull it out.
And I saw them jumping over one another. I mean, the kids, they're very excited to be back in school. I would be. I see them jumping over one another, and I'm wondering, oh Lord. So
it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. We just want to encourage, you know, teachers and headmistresses and headmasters to not get lax at all. Because our children are very, very, very important to us, and we need them safe. So we understand that it might be difficult and very tedious, but we're counting on you to continue to watch over our children when we hand them over to you.
That's right.
Staying with COVID-19, there's also some.
That's when a mother is speaking. You know the difference, right? I mean, I'm a potential mother too, so.
Yeah, but you know how it is. Anyway, you know, we've had a little bit of issues with the enforcement of the wearing of face masks. So you know, a few people have been arrested over the past.
Yes. Oh, that was I think on Tuesday.
Yes.
97 of them were arrested, but they were all then crammed up in a very tiny place without the masks, and some of them had babies. So I think people raised a lot of concerns. But I think that lessons learned, the police going forward will know how to do the right thing.
Yeah. So that's about it. Those are my concerns this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
On COVID-19.
Okay. Cool. But I think we haven't done the daily guide. It's always always interesting. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that? Okay. So that's it for the newspapers. We'll probably take a look at the online portals on what they're reporting. We start from home, don't we?
Yes, My Joy Online. MyJoyOnline.com. Okay, there we are. Okay, I can't see the first word.
Let me help you. You need spectacles?
Something committed. Oh, okay. Well, let's start. No, my screen is.
Okay, I got it here. Something committed fundamental.
Exactly.
Errors.
You can't see the first.
Committed fundamental errors of law in interrogatory.
You committed fundamental errors of law in interrogatories ruling. Mahama to Supreme Court judge. Other stories. Judges.
Yes.
Oh yeah, judges. Okay. Other stories. This is a good eye test, isn't it? Other stories on My Joy Online.
Okay, I see Mahama first for review. Oh, Mahama files for review of the Supreme Court ruling on 12 interrogatories for EC. That's a story that we're familiar with. And the number of ministers to be appointed will not. The number of ministers to be appointed will not exceed 85.
Oh, there they are.
According to Eugene. All right, take it away.
Kaswa Slay Queen dies after twerking naked on stage in a $100 challenge. Yeah, okay. There's also a photo story. Day 3 of the Supreme Court hearing of Mahama's election petition. That's My Joy Online. Can we move to citynewsroom.com? We will not shield any member engaged in fraudulent activities. That's according to the GMA. Akufo-Addo Mahama must dialogue amid election petition. Kwame Pianim, and staying with the election petition, Mahama expected to file witness statements affidavit today. Also, Supreme Court outlines 5 issues for determination in election petition. And that story, Yoko nabs 2 doctors, 9 others over the sale of babies. That's it for citynewsroom.com. Let's move to BBC. Okay, Biden sets to work on reversing Trump policies. That's the headline on the BBC. Kamala Harris becomes first female black vice president. UK and EU in row over bloc's diplomatic status, and star-studded concert marks Biden inauguration. Ooh, so the Foo Fighters, John Legend, Demi Lovato, and Katy Perry all played in the Celebrating America concert. Gosh, last night must have been a lot of fun. Some sports on the BBC. Let me just do some sports news on the BBC. Real shocked by 3rd Division Alcoyano. Man City top briefly after beating Aston Villa. And Ronaldo's 760th goal helps Juve to Super Cup. Oh, we love us some Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's do Fox News now. So on Fox, okay, anti-Biden Antifa attack, Portland police officers forcing cops to retreat. So some Antifa protesters clashed with authorities there. Okay, FBI releases new wanted poster of suspected Capitol rioters. New York National Guard helicopter crash kills 3 soldiers. May their souls rest in peace. And that's it for Fox News. Let's go to CNN. A new chapter, the inauguration of Biden. Biden changes America in an instant, but tougher challenges loom. Beijing sanctions high-ranking Trump administration officials after Biden takes office. And of course, there's some highlights from an unprecedented day, the inauguration and swearing in of the 46th president of the United States. Biden says Trump left him a very generous letter before departing the White House. Oh, what we would give to see the contents of that letter. Did you see the one that was going around that said, I think it was Joe, you know I won. Yeah, exactly.
That's so authentic.
No, apparently Biden will be the first person to see that letter, and it will be on his desk after the inauguration.
Yeah.
So we know that that's definitely not.
Well, I'm taking particular interest in Beijing sanctions high-ranking Trump administration. I think that China is, they don't forgive easily. So, I mean, they're going after these people who are obviously at this point very vulnerable because, first of all, they don't have the cloak of power to protect them anymore. And I don't know why Beijing will make it a big deal. They operated within an office. Yeah. That office is over. So why go after the individuals? It'll be interesting to find out what kind of sanctions they're putting on them. Maybe going to disallow them easy access into China or something. I'm not really sure. But, well, lessons there for the countries around the world. A lot of people have raised concerns about dealing with China. But they've also proven over the years to be a more reliable sort of support when other countries are, but they always have conditionalities that raise a lot of concerns.
Of course, they put themselves first and they're trying to get ahead as a nation, and so in that sense you could say that they are maybe necessary. It's a necessary selfishness. Right. Yes, but I mean you got to do what you got to do, right? Yeah.
But I mean, can we take a look at the sanctions? What kind of sanctions are they imposing on them? Let's go up a little bit on this particular page. So it says the Chinese government has announced sanctions against blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so Mike Pompeo leading and 27 other high-ranking officials. So it's in a strongly worded statement published after U.S. President Joe Biden was sworn into office in the early hours of Thursday morning, Beijing time. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said the former Trump administration officials were anti-China politicians who had undermined the relationship between U.S. and China. So, I mean, what are they doing? What are the sanctions? So, promoted and executed. So they're said to have promoted and executed a series of crazy moves, which have gravely interfered in China's internal affairs. So what I still can't find the. Yeah, maybe we go up a bit. That's a picture of Mike Pompeo. Among the listed by the Beijing, you can still can't find it, right? The 28 former officials and their immediate family. That's it. The 28 former officials and their immediate family members will be banned from entering mainland China. I said it. Hong Kong or Macau.
According to
that's right. I knew it.
Will be restricted from doing business with China. So not just from entering, but restricted from doing business as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's okay because they operated in an office. The office is over. Why target the individuals? I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is China. All right, so that's it for the newspaper review and
we have
the
an
news
exciting
review.
show, though.
Yes, we do.
Up. Yes,
we do. We're going to talk about babies.
Yep.
And
also going to the markets this morning.
Exactly.
Sante will take us around the markets to see what's going on with that. So good stuff.
I'm passionate about the babies, by the way.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear from you, by the way. We'll put our WhatsApp number up. So if you have any experience, of this baby theft, you can share that with us when we have that discussion. This is still the AM show. To stay with us, we'll be right back.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports on the AM show. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Yesterday, we did reveal to you on this platform and this very show that Right to Dream Academy were going into a partnership worth 100 million euros. Yes, that deal did come to pass as the Academy announced that they and Egyptian billionaire Mohamed Mansour have reached an agreement that will help the iconic football institution expand and to recruit more young players to hone their talents for the country. The investment in Right to Dream, we understand, as we reported yesterday, is 100 million euros, which will see the Egyptian family take majority ownership of the academy. However, founder Tom Vernon will maintain his role as the chief executive officer. He tells Joy Sports their motivation for taking such a step.
We believe that everyone has the right to dream, and we know that, especially on the African continent, the access to achieving your dreams in football is very limited.
Yes.
And so we're very proud of the opportunities that we've managed to create in Ghana for footballers to become successful, as we know, but also the 70+ students who've gone to university in America, and we proved that we've designed a model which does allow you to achieve your dreams and to have the right to dream. And so there's many motivations for us going into the partnership. One is to increase the investment and the quality of work that we do in Ghana, so that we can increase those opportunities for our students, but also for staff. And I think Right to Dream has now started to build a strong reputation for investing heavily into Ghanaian coaching staff as well. And we see Sike Apono as the Black Stars coach. Otto Addo, who was with us, is now the assistant coach of Dortmund. And then we're very proud to have Germany, like Kingston, Michael Essien, all working within our organization. So it's not only the dreams of our students, but also the dreams of our staff. So we'll continue to expand and strengthen in Ghana, which is our home and our heartbeat. And then we're very, very excited to be building a Right to Dream in Egypt, which is a massive investment from the Mansours. And the model of the academy in Egypt will follow the model that everybody's used to in Ghana for Right to Dream in Ghana. And I think, last time, or when Ghana's famous match against Egypt was a 6-1 victory. So I think we need to make sure that the Ghanaian football DNA and the Ghanaian football system that Right to Dream has can also go to help our North African brothers to develop there as well. So we're very proud about that. And then we'll also increase our investment in our club here in Denmark, and also look as to how we can take the Right to Dream group into the UK as well.
That is the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Right to Dream Academy, Tom Vernon, saying that they want to create more opportunities for young talents across the continent. The Ghana League Clubs Association, they are deciding their leadership today. Incumbent Kujefiano is promising leadership that he's promising a leadership that will benefit football, citing the example of government support for clubs when they played league matches behind closed doors.
We need to show leadership and veer completely away from controversy. We must see GFA as a partner in business. We shouldn't be confrontational. Two heads are always better than one. And we have collaborated of late, and we are seeing some of the benefits. And we think that that is the way to go. FIFA brought COVID relief fund to the FA. GALCA is not officially accepted as, when I say officially, meaning that we are seen, even as FIFA, as one of the major stakeholders in Ghana football. But they managed to squeeze something because, and the current FA president cut his teeth as a football administrator. He worked as a GALCA admin manager, and the relationship had brought in some benefits to our members. For instance, the women football, that remittance that they are receiving from National Youth Authority, we would have loved to have it more. It was a joint collaboration between the FA and GALCA. And then the COVID relief fund that came from government of late. Some people thought it was a campaign gimmick. No, a lot of effort had gone into it.
A lot of effort had gone into the government's decision to support clubs after asking them to play behind closed doors. Aspirant Isaac Compson is promising a welfare scheme for investors in football.
When I first talk GALCA scheme, welfare scheme, GALCA welfare scheme, as I started it, is where contributes and benefits. As simple as that.
What do you mean by contribute and benefit?
Clubs should contribute and benefit. For example, I am a deputy CEO of Adriana Football Club. Mr. Jehu being the leader or the chairman of Adriana, we have management member like Atadi Bango, Wafa Yao, Wafa Kobna, Dada, etc., etc. Okay? We manage this ball, this thing, and last year, during we are New Year, so last year, one of our management member passed on. Okay? All what we did is to go and give him farewell. Okay? This management member have kids, has wife, has family. He's dead and nothing beneficial from football fraternity.
Now let's take a look at those vying for various positions in today's elections. The chairmanship position is Isaac Compson and Kujefiano. The two of them contested the 2016 one. And then the vice chairmanship position is John Ansah and Alex Akume in 2016. Alex Akume went unopposed. For treasurer, we have Linda Anson and Justice Boyson. These two are contesting. It's the first time females have been allowed to contest positions within the leadership of GALCA. For Premier League rep position, we have George Ofosihino of Wafa, Edmond Aka of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Nana Amankwa of Kim Faisal. These are the people who want to represent Premier League clubs in the leadership of GALCA. For Division 1 rep, we have Eugene Noble Noy and Philip Bewu. They want to represent Division 1 in the leadership of the Ghana League Clubs Association. For Division 2 rep, we have Eugene Jakwe. He contested for a position in the Greater Accra rep of the Ghana Football Association. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. And Emmanuel Opoku, these are the two who are contesting for those places. For executive member position, we have Edna Quagrin and Anita Redu. Former Ghana international Emmanuel Ajimambedu wants Kumasi Asante Kotoko to revive their U20 team if they want to compete against the best locally and continentally. There's more in the following report. The FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner had a stint with the Porcupines. He believed the revival of the Kotoko Under-20 side would be essential if Kotoko wants to recapture their heydays.
You see, I think we need to revive the Under-20 of Asante Kotoko. So, looking at where I'm from, I think we can get talent from those areas to revive the Under-20. Teams like Kotoko is like Real Madrid. You can't go for the Under-20 players, but you need to put some to gain experience and know the culture and the character of Kotoko, so that you'll be having a good team each and every year. And I think the CEO is one of my good friends, and he have a thought about this kind of things. But right now there's a lot of pressure on him. He needs to concentrate on the senior side, get the results, get some players to just fix in. But look at where I'm coming from. I can go around the villages, get some.
Ajimambedu, who recently retired from the senior national team, believes that it is quite early to tag Kotoko as title favourites, as the league is still young.
It's too early to say they can win the league. A new management, new players. We are having interim coach now, which we are not sure of what will happen tomorrow. You see, we are lacking two things in Kotoko now, even in general football. When a team is not playing well and they are scoring, there's some confidence that, okay, well, the team is not playing well, but we are getting the goals and we are getting the point. It's one thing. When the team is not scoring and they are playing well, then you can have confidence that, oh, we need to work on the attacking midfielders, the strikers, and everybody, so that when the goals start coming, you get both. Now we are lacking both. The team is not playing well and we are not scoring. The last time, when was the last time you saw or see Kotoko winning 2-0? It was against only Liberty. For like a year, or I never see Kotoko winning 2-0, 1-0, 1-1. But I hope they will build on this 2-0 to gain the confidence back. Even if the game is not how we want it to flow, we need to start burying the goals. If the goals are not coming, we need to start playing well. But we are lacking both right now.
Kotoko is the record champions of the Ghana Premier League, winning the competition 23 times. And talking of Kotoko, yesterday they defeated Ebusua Dwarfs in their outstanding Match Week 7 Ghana Premier League game, and that took them to a point behind leaders Kerala United on the Ghana Premier League table. And also the Chief Executive Officer held a meeting with sacked coach Maxwell Konedu, wanting him back to take the coaching job. However, it appears Maxwell will not be back. That's all time will permit us here for Sports on the AM show. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
And it is still the AM show. We're here brightening up your morning. Hopefully, do tell us if we're doing a good job, or if you have feedback on how we can make it better. By all means, do share. The number is 0540109009. That's 0540109009. Of course, I'm not doing this alone. I've got Enimwa Do, who is here with me. Enimwa?
Yes, and we're having to learn to speak with our eyes now, because, you know, all of our faces are covered.
Oh.
And I keep on doing it to people. I'm like, oh, you look really sad. And they're like, have a mask on. How can you tell? I'm like, you look really happy. But I mean, the eyes are the windows to the soul, aren't they? So I hope you're feeling all the love that's coming through the eyes to you this morning. And welcome if you're just waking up. Well, lucky you.
Please pardon her flirting. Pardon her flirting. You know.
Oh, who am I for the camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But so you see, there's an important story that we've been running, and we need to keep going at it. It is the COVID-19 and the fact that our numbers keep going up. Yeah. It's not funny anymore. Yesterday, I read somewhere that the CEO of Best Point Savings and Loans had passed away. We've seen all the high-profile people who have passed away. Now, mind you, there were other deaths that were recorded. Just because they're not, all the way up there doesn't mean people aren't dying. People are dying, and we need to be very careful. We'll be shortly going to the Ghana Health Service website, so we'll take a look at the numbers and how they've changed over the years. Anymore, in just about a day or so, I think we recorded 6 deaths.
Yes. I don't know where to start from.
I know, right?
Because without being controversial, that is, we...
Feel free to be controversial.
There have been so many different narratives, from November, October, when the COVID numbers, kind of started to come down. Yeah. And then we had the registration for the elections, and then we had elections, and we had rallying, and we had parties, and we had raves, and we had all these things go on. And I remember that in the course of November and December, on the Super Morning Show, we kept on talking about enforcement. Because the president had said, the pubs are closed, the beaches are closed, and we kept on telling the president, actually, the pubs are not closed, of course. The beaches are not closed. People still, they chill. Yeah. So obviously, there was this great divide between what was being expected would happen and what was actually happening. Yeah. And so there was that. Then there was the Christmas parties, Gifty. I mean, and they were big.
I know.
And I know,
there were weddings as well.
I know people groups. So when you look at the social strata, I think that's what it's called. I know groups of people who are all isolating or who have all tested positive because they were at this one big event, a few weeks ago.
But I think even if you were, and even if you were at the event and you wore the mask, you probably would have been protected.
The mask will come off at some point, at any point in an event. Because you'll take it off to drink, you'll take it off to eat.
To take a picture.
You'll take it off to take a picture. You'll definitely take it off. So we kind of relax with a lot of these things. It's not strange that we're seeing the numbers going up. After we've had elections, we've done political party rallying, we've had all these parties and weddings and stuff.
What is strange though anymore is that people are dying. Because the first COVID, the first wave that we had, people died. But I think the rate at which people are dying right now is way faster.
Well, remember that we also have a new variant.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure if we were able to distinguish between which variant people are getting. But remember that we do have a new variant, and we also know that it's presenting as malaria. So we've had a lot of people saying that, we have malaria, we have typhoid. And yesterday, 3 friends of mine who were being treated for malaria and typhoid actually tested positive for
COVID-19.
So a lot more people are presenting, and we've created a false sense of security because we kept on saying, we are asymptomatic, we are fine.
It's all Ghanaians are asymptomatic.
Exactly. It's only people with underlying issues who, may die. And we're finding that people who are young and don't have underlying issues are being hit very hard by the disease.
Yeah. But
so the thing is, and we have to keep this at the back of our minds, this is a new disease. We cannot act as if we know it all when it comes to
exactly what I was going to say, because you mentioned that people were presenting symptoms as though they had malaria
and typhoid.
But we've not yet heard any scientific announcement to that effect. That the trend we're seeing actually shows us that malaria or signs or symptoms of malaria actually could be that you have the new variant.
I think it's important that we keep it at the back of our minds that we do not know this disease well.
Yeah.
So we cannot, relax with it, or we cannot say, have conclusive statements such as, if you don't have underlying issues, then, you'll be fine. If you don't have this, you don't have this. And I've always said that the thing that scares me the most about COVID is that you don't know how it will hit you. So the people that, they have it and they're asymptomatic.
Yeah.
There are people who have it and they're a little bit sick. There are people who have it with underlying issues and are really sick but recover. Then there are people who don't have underlying issues, get really sick and die.
Yes.
So it's difficult to see, to know how it is. But let's go to the Ghana Health Service.
So this is what our figures look like right now. I don't know if you want to go through it anymore.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so our new cases are 391. I'm not sure as of when, so that would be as of this morning. That's cut-off point, presumably yesterday.
Yes, usually they'll have a date there. We'll get updated on that. But let's take a look.
Active cases, 2,178. That's active symptomatic cases. this does not include those who have been tested and are waiting for their results. Or people who are asymptomatic and people who are spreaders. We don't have that figure. Our total confirmed cases since the beginning of COVID-19 is 58,822. Deaths stand at 358.
I mean, just last week, it was around 300 and I think 38.
Yeah.
Just about last week.
It's gone up.
Yeah. Well, we'll be taking a look at the markets in COVID-19 and, you know, the measures that we're taking, the measures we're putting in place to secure our market as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Manuel Kranting will be joining us. He's roving for us. But let's get on the phone lines and we'll be talking to Gilbert Ni Ankra. He is head of public affairs at the Accra Metropolitan Authority for a quick talk on the Assembly's plan to keep people in the metropolis safe in these times. So, Mr. Ankra, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
By God's grace.
I will be surprised if the AMA doesn't have a plan for the markets. I'm sure you do. Do share with us.
Thank you very much once again for the opportunity. The AMA, as you said, really has a plan to deal with the market in terms of COVID. And if you would remember, efforts to deal with issues of COVID started sometime last year, and a lot has been put in place, especially in terms of ensuring that the Assembly put in measures to comply traders within the markets to adhere to the safety protocols, and some of which includes the provision of hand washing facilities, the distribution of nose masks, and education in all these aspects. But with this very second wave, plans that the Assembly is putting in place is basically to ensure that education is out there. So as I speak to you, we have since Monday, we have the Metro Information Service Department moving out there with their vans to ensure that we let the people understand the need to first and foremost put on the nose masks, because that is the most important thing that would help one way or the other. The first that would help in curbing this very virus. And when it comes to issues of provision of hand washing facilities, just some few weeks ago, the Assembly took delivery of some facilities, hand washing facilities from Vital Strategies to be given to lorry parks, markets, and all that. And then we have done that as well. And these efforts are to complement what the police is also doing. If you remember, since Monday, the police within the Central Business District have been up to ensure that people who don't put on these nose masks are arrested. And so far, a couple of them have been arrested by the police. The effort to deal with that is also ongoing. And let me assure that if you come into the Central Business District and you are not on nose masks and you are caught, I can assure you that the police is there to deal with you. So these are some measures that we're putting in place to deal with the issue. But education is key. And let me commend your organization for whatever you've been doing over these past weeks when it comes to this COVID, to let the people understand that it is real and we have to ensure that we adhere to the safety protocols.
Enima is here and she has some questions.
So Gilbert, just a quick one. Yesterday in the newspaper, we heard that the KMA is planning on running a shift system in the markets so that there's more spacing for the women and for the men who sell. Is there a plan for the AMA to do something like that as well?
Yes, that is. We are considering that, but that was even some aspect of relocating traders was done last year. If you remember, we had to move bulk tomato sellers from the Central Business District to the House Park near the Art Center to ply their trade there. And we are looking at dealing with all these things. Don't forget, markets within the Central Business District are not some of these satellite markets you see elsewhere. So if you want to take decisions like that, you need to engage, especially the leadership and the traders themselves. Consultation is very, very important. And currently at this stage, we are looking at all these other options. But for now, the focus is to ensure that the education goes down well for people to understand the need to put on their nose masks.
Okay, so are you working with the police when it comes to enforcement and the wearing of face masks? Because, I mean, when you go to Adbablushi or Accra, actual Accra, it's difficult, for some of the market women to keep these masks on the whole day, in the sun. So how is that panning out in terms of enforcement and working with the police?
Yes, just as I said, yesterday there was a meeting with the mayor and some security operatives within the city to deal with these issues. And as I said, since Monday, the police have been on it. The assembly is also complementing with our Metro task force to help in increasing the numbers to monitor some of these things within the Central Business District. So there is close collaboration with the police and other security agencies to ensure that we deal with it very issue. We understand the challenges, and people must understand that if we would all come out from this very pandemic, we all have to play a role. It is my duty and your duty to ensure that we protect ourselves. And that is what we are all dealing with, to ensure that we adhere to the protocol so that we would stay away from this very pandemic.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And that's Gilbert.
Well, I do have a question for Gilbert. Gilbert, I want to find out, in your interactions with the women, I suppose is something you're doing, do you get a sense that the work you're putting in terms of sensitizing them to wear the masks is sinking in?
Of course.
How do you know?
Really, yes, because if they are monitoring what we've been doing, if you look at even since Monday, let me think into not even traders, but even Kayaye, you would find out that this time around, since Monday, the message has really sinking in that if you come into the Central Business District without wearing a nose mask or a face mask, you will be arrested by the police. And if we look at what is happening from yesterday and Tuesday, you see that a lot of them now move even with their pants on, with their nose masks on. So that is the most important thing, for people to understand the need to first and foremost protect themselves and others by putting on the masks. We know there are few people who come in, and I personally have even stopped to compel people to put on their masks. There are a lot of people around who defy the directives, but we want to send that caution to them that if you come into the Central Business District and you don't put on the mask, you on.
I just want to. I'll just read a few of our messages and probably take your thoughts on it before we let you go. But I don't know if you have answered this question already. You may have, and I may have missed it. Initially, when COVID started, the markets had some markings, especially in the Western region. So they had markings on the floor that gave the traders the indication that you don't go beyond this point. You don't go beyond that point. It helped in the Western region. And it must be a bit tedious, but do we have a plan like that for markets here in Accra?
Yes, just as I said, last year, we put in place some of these measures within the Central Business District. And we had the mayor himself moving in with the task force to demarcate these 2-meter spacing. And if you come all the way within the Tudu area, the entire Central, it was adhered to. This is something we are also looking at this time around. And if you would notice, as I said, we have our vans moving into, first and foremost, let the people know that this COVID is real, and then they must put on their nose masks. Before that, the assembly had even gone in to inform the traders that they need to move into the market, move away to decongest. So measures are being put in place to ensure that we first and foremost decongest the entire business district. Don't forget, people came in during the Christmas season to do some business, and it's time for them to move back. So we're dealing with all these things holistically.
Okay, I'll just give you a few of the comments coming in from our viewers. So, I mean, usually some of these things, it gives authorities a sense of what the public expects, so you can tailor your interventions accordingly. This messenger says, it's Professor Newlands Francis, said, please, we should expect increasing cases since the student population are back to school without strong and effective protocol observation. Take into consideration the class density. He says we need effective public health system strengthening and development in schools. Are you working with public health authorities in your interventions?
Of course. Of course. If you remember, the Assembly's public health department plays an important role even when it comes to these COVID issues. And they have been mandated to move in to ensure that they even do sensitization to and even check whether people are adhering to the COVID protocol. So there is close collaboration with public health to deal with these issues. Even when it comes to burying people who die of this very disease, it is our public health department that handles it. So there is close collaboration with these two institutions.
Okay, thank you very much for your time this morning. Gilbert Ni Ankra is Head of Public Affairs with the AMA. Anymore, have you been to the market lately?
Oh, of course not. No. I will not venture. I do my marketing in my car. So I drive through Malata and then I sit in my car
and you buy. But you can still...
If I have is about 10 CDs. If I have more 50 CDs. If I shoot out a hand, then no, I don't.
Well, me too. I do take away. So.
Yeah, I'm a bit reluctant to step into
the market.
Into the market.
We'll find out what Manuel Kranting has put together. But before that, Judith, our Chitando, has been engaging some traders on the increase of COVID-19 cases there. Hear their thoughts.
Here I am at the Nima Market Center, where business is booming as usual. But even with the COVID-19 pandemic still in the system, the safety protocols are not being observed. Market women here say that the pandemic no longer exists.
I
believe God has taken away the virus because of the prayers we've made.
Because if
COVID-19 was truly in the system, we would have all been dead by now. I'll never get the virus. God forbid.
Outside Ghana. Oh, there be me, I reject it.
There's no virus. It's no longer in the system.
You see, you're in 2 weeks.
We were told the virus will last for 2 weeks, but it's been a year now. We still don't know anyone with the virus. The situation at the Malata Market Center is not any different. Most local traders and customers do not seem to be bothered about the rising cases.
But since that last year, this incident has happened, we haven't seen any cases that arise that maybe you see that you can just point this one, say that this one gets that infected of that disease. So as for me, I'm not sure that it has been in the system. No. If it's not there, I'm not sure that maybe I can get it.
We are tired of hearing about this virus. Our blood is surely thicker than the virus. Safety protocols serve to protect the individual and public from the harmful effects of the virus. Wearing the mask is one of them. Mask up. That's the plea of Ghana's health officers who are worried about the rising cases. Judith Awachitando for JoyNews.
So, share mask, no? That is what she says, at the end of that story. Mask up. And we're talking about COVID-19. Our numbers are going up. Well, we've opened the WhatsApp platform for you to share with us your thoughts. Most of you are talking about it as well. You're also commenting on the other issues. Animado has the messages. What are people saying?
Okay, so Dr. Kojo says, what stops us from wearing the face masks and educating our children to do same? Governments must do a lot of education through the appropriate institutions of state, but all of us have a responsibility to prevent the spread than always sitting on top of the fence and talking loudly. So he talks about personal responsibility.
Exactly.
This one says, please, why and how are the COVID-19 cases in Ghana going up now? Or there was no COVID-19 when politicians wanted us to go and vote for their self-interest, and now it's hitting us hard. They themselves, that's the politicians, didn't enforce any directives and now are scaring us with this. Please, we want to ask, did COVID-19 go on standby in November and December and is now...
So anyway, I think I get people say this a lot and they talk about why... I mean, we try to do the blame game, but I say that it's about time we move on from the blame game. Yeah. We've had this conversation over and over again. I mean, if people people are what's the word? Intelligent enough to know the situation, but it's not. This is not really the time to do the blame game. It's a time to encourage everybody to do the right thing, so we protect ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Okay, so Emmanuel from Winneba says, I'm not surprised that the number of active cases keep on rising by the day. This is because most Ghanaians are not adhering to the protocols given by the president, especially people in Winneba. Hey, Winneba squad, what's up? Okay, this one is from Tamale. Good morning. Those involved in the trafficking of babies, the police must delve deeply into barbaric acts. And
I think we'll get to that story.
Yes, would be imprisoned. Thank you for that. Just still going through a lot of different issues. And of course, at some points, you do realize that the text messages will have become about NDC, MPP, and the COVID, and somehow...
It's amazing how people get obsessed with politics. There are times that, I mean, I'm telling you anymore, if we had put the WhatsApp line there and said, what do you think about the Supreme Court case? Between NPP, the NPP's John Mahama and the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo and the NDC's John Mahama. Anymore, you won't be able to read one single message because they'll be coming in droves, and it will be so fast that you'll miss it.
What's interesting is how we can take any issue and
politicize it.
Anyway, this one says. This one talks about the vaccine and is saying that the president wants us to get the vaccine because they've taken money. I don't know where you got that information from, but he asks a very relevant question, though, and this is Christian. He says, if the cases are going up, why did we open the schools? We're still trying to understand that, obviously, because we want our children to be educated. There's that side.
But then you see that there was a plan. There was a previous plan that the government was putting together already before this new variant came in. So I think we just essentially followed through with the plan that we had. The plan that we had initially, it just coincided with the new variant coming in. So I think some people have said we are experimenting with this one. I don't know whether we're experimenting, but I think we had a plan and we just essentially follow the plan, which I would have done. But we need to monitor it carefully and take into consideration the variants that's in right now and do the right thing, essentially. So you can also join us via Zoom. And that's the ID right there on your screen. Do join us via Zoom. We want to hear. I'm particularly interested anymore in hearing people's experiences. Have you been out there recently? What did you see? Especially, have you been to the hospitals? I told you this morning that one of our colleagues, Matilda Gavi, went to an ICU, and she describes it as a traumatic experience. She didn't go there to to be treated. She just went there to report, and for her it is traumatic. So I'm wondering if you have seen anything like that. Have you been to the hospital lately? What did you see? What you saw? Do let us know. But you can join us via Zoom. And I guess it's time now for you to have a feel of what Matilda saw at the ICU.
Inside the high dependency unit of the Ga East Hospital, very critically ill COVID-19 patients are being attended to. 4 patients are battling for a second chance to live. Every beep from these ventilators speaks volume. Some sick person living on, or a life gradually slipping out of time.
A lot of cases here, we do lose some of them. So it's better to be in the comfort of your home than being in an ICU.
Linda, not her real name, is no longer in the ICU. She's recovering from COVID-19 under very strict supervision. Before she tested positive, she was very mindful of adhering to the safety protocols until she let her guard down at a family gathering.
I used to call myself the COVID police until the police caught me. It took it for granted one day.
One day? Where did you go?
No. Just family.
Oh.
Family, yes.
And it happened to you?
Yes, it did.
Grandma Ife stayed away from all public places, stayed home with the family, but got infected.
My grandchildren were for a party, and after the party they swam. So when they came to me, I think 2 days later, the big granddaughter was having some symptoms. By then I didn't know the symptom, but hers was like a running nose. Then later when I saw that she was getting temperature, so we rushed her to the pharmacy if it's malaria. Then the pharmacist told us that it's not, but he just gave us some first aid. But when we came on the following day, I said, no, let's go to Nogochi. So the little one was coming closer to me. So I think after 4 days, I also started feeling a bit throat itching. But I didn't take it serious. I just went to do my concoction and I drank and it was over. Then 3 days later, that this thing will hit me.
Wow.
I kept vomiting. My son said, no, Mommy, you have got COVID. Let's go to Ghana District Hospital.
So what happened to your grandchildren? Where are they?
They went to Nogochi and they were all tested positive. So they have their own hospital they go to.
A total of 62 COVID-19 patients are receiving care here, but the severity of their condition is a source of concern to health workers. Dr. Ebenezer Ojo-Mensah is the medical superintendent at the Ghana East Hospital.
We think more people are ill now than last year, and the severity of the illness has increased compared to what we were seeing last year. And this can't be due to chance. So if a new variant
what exactly is accounting for what we are seeing now?
Well, this coincides with the worldwide pattern of increased severity of COVID-19 across the world. If you look at most countries, UK, Germany, etc., they are more or less closing up now because they have more ill patients on admission. If you listen to international news, and that's exactly what we're experiencing now. And it has been acknowledged that the new variant is in country, including the South African variant as well. And these are known to cause more severe disease. So since we've had quite a few of our compatriots coming over the holidays, we believe that one way or the other, the new variant has found itself into the country and could be contributing to the severity of the disease we are currently seeing. That does not mean the old variant is not there. It's still there. It's still causing illness and disease. But when you compare the severity now to what we had earlier, we believe something has changed.
So that's Matilda Gavi's report and her experience. We'll have a lot more of that subsequently later in the here on this channel. Any more? You have some thoughts on this?
If I start, I won't finish. But yeah, I mean, I noticed that he talked about the fact that there's the new variant, there's the South African one as well, and then there's the old one. So and we know that the new ones are presenting a little bit more severe, especially in younger folks. So it's scary, but it's also necessary for us to keep the conversations going and bring you these images and these conversations, because I'm going through the messages and there are actually some people who are texting in and, saying, is this COVID thing real? Is this COVID thing real? Is COVID thing real? And the answer to that is that by the time you are sure that it's real, it could be too late for you.
Exactly.
So better to be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I just think
look at this guy. I mean, look at this guy on your screen right now, the one who started the story, the one that Matilda started the story with. Just look how helpless he is.
Yeah.
And it looks
and how much pain he's in. Yeah.
He's struggling to breathe. He's helpless. He can't do anything. He's just lying down there, and everything boils down to. No, so imagine you have. She said 62 of them are in this particular facility. I don't know the capacity of the facility, but you know that we have capacity challenges in our hospitals across this country. So imagine they have so many people. How would these nurses cope? And I saw a story, and I keep referring to this story, the Amazonian part of Brazil. People were carrying cylinders anymore, and they were looking for oxygen to buy. I shudder to think what we would do, think about what we can do, or what we will even do should this happen in Ghana.
Happen here, yeah.
I have no idea. And so,
of course, and then there's also the rising cost of care. With the COVID-19. You know, one of our colleagues posted on Facebook a few days ago about how much it cost him. It cost him almost 19,000 Ghana cedis to be in hospital and to be treated for COVID-19. Yesterday on Facebook, there was another post about how somebody said it cost them 22,000 Ghana cedis to be in hospital and get treated. So you can't take it for granted that you will get access to some public health service because you could get there and they're full. And when they're full, there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. This is an infectious disease. You're not going to lie on the floor outside and be treated. You're not. Most likely you will be sent away, which is the stark reality. It's a painful but true reality.
And the thing is, if you go home, you have family at home. You have probably your parents. A friend of mine was telling me in the UK that he took this job in the hospital recently and he contracted the virus. He went home, his father got it, his father died.
Oh.
So you may survive, but the other people in your home, in your family,
may not. But apart from the going home and transmitting, there's a level after which you cannot be at home. You can't be care cannot be given to you at home. If you need oxygen, if you need to go on a ventilator, if you need to do it, that cannot happen at home. So you will have to go into hospital. And you have to think of the fact that it's expensive.
It is.
And also the fact that you can actually avoid getting this disease by wearing a mask, washing your hands, sanitizing your hands, and physically distancing from people. That's all that it takes. So you sit down in yourself and compare these two. I'm going to wear a mask, I'm going to wash my hands, I'm going to sanitize, and I'm going to distance. Or I'm going to take the risk, get sick, need a ventilator, get intubated, and die. Ultimately, the choice is yours. The painful thing about this choice, though, is that whatever you choose affects me. So if you choose to not be safe, you're also putting me who is trying to be safe in danger. So what do we do?
I think anyone couldn't have said it any better. Very, very firm word there. Let's go to Zoom, where some of you are joining us. I'm starting with Mohammed. Mohammed, good morning. Mohammed, you're muted. Do unmute and let's have a chat. Do you hear me, Mohammed?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good morning, Mohammed. Mohammed, what's your story from where you are? What's the story? What's the COVID story from where you are?
Good morning. And can you hear me?
Perfectly. Please go ahead. Mohammed, try this again. Talk to us. We can hear you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, go ahead. And
I'm speaking from Koforidua, Eastern region.
Okay.
And
you're watching us on the TV and having the conversation at the same time. It's difficult that way. So you have to turn the volume off on your TV and listen to us on the Zoom, okay? So fix that. I'll go to someone else and then come back to you. Yeah? Okay. Momin, unmute and let's hear you. What's your COVID story? What's the COVID story in your area? Okay, Momin has left. Kwame. Kwame, we see you.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, how are you? And what's the COVID story at your end?
Yeah, I'm very good, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm at Asante Achim North, precisely Agogo, the Ashanti region. In fact, last Monday, I sent my words to one of the schools here, and in fact, the congestion situation there was very, very appalling. In fact, there were about 4 students, the four pupils sitting on one desk, 4. Then the following day, I went there, and even the worst happened. Most of the students were just standing in the classroom with no desk. Now, assuming even if they decide to split the classes, what is going to happen? How are the students, if there are no desks, so if they decide to split the classes into 2 or 3, the students will still not get chairs or tables to sit on to learn. And the situation is very, very worrying. I don't know what the authorities are doing about it. In fact,
Kwame, I think what you can also do is to locate the district education authority in your area and inform them so that they can take some action. Right, Kwame, thank you very much. But most of these things happened at the beginning, or I think on Monday when school reopened. Subsequently, things seem to have improved. Anymore, you were in one of the schools. I'll leave you to the next person.
I'm not too sure about it. I feel like as time goes by, we'll probably get a little bit more relaxed. But we'll go back to schools and see what they're doing. Should we talk to Mohammed? Should we try Mohammed again?
Okay, Mohammed is gone. Isa, okay. Yes, Isa.
You
okay, Isa. All right. Isa, can you hear me? Unmute and talk to us, Isa. Hello, Isa. If you're watching on the TV, there's a delay, so you want to turn down the volume on your TV and listen to us on your device. Isa, you're on air. Okay, I need to apologize to you all. Unfortunately, you don't seem to either, have your sound fixed up or you can't really hear us properly. And who do I have next? Okay, so do join us again on Zoom. When you do, you need to unmute. Well, so first be muted, but then when you are on air, you need to unmute. Sit in the position where we can, okay, let's go to Bright, who is ready for us right now. Bright? Unmute, Bright. Bright, you're talking, but you're muted, so we can't hear you.
Okay.
Yes. Bright, how are you doing this morning?
By God's grace, I'm doing fine.
Okay, and what's the COVID story in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood, I went out with the local compliance. Everybody do not care about it.
I'm struggling to hear you, Bright. I'm struggling to hear you, Bright. Can you reposition and let's hear you? Okay. Okay, seems we're having a bit of a problem, a bit of a challenge. But it's good to see you all. You see us all the time. Now we get to see you.
And thank you for watching and staying tuned in. And of course, for making the extra effort of trying to get involved in the conversation. We are grateful. And we have Manuel.
Malata, yes.
Yes. Manuel, when you're coming back, please buy me a lassa.
Hey. Okay, Manuel, let's take a look at the situation at the Malata markets. You have been to this place before. The last time you were there, they told you they think the COVID is gone. In fact, most of them had their masks, but they weren't wearing them. What's the situation now, Manuel?
Yeah. The situation is quite the opposite today. And as we had information of the surging cases across the country, here at the Malata market today, as I've been observing for the past couple of minutes, almost every seller here is wearing a mask. The worst you could have is wrong wearing of the mask, where you have the mask being worn on the chin and so on. They seem to be very much aware of the intensity of the situation we're dealing with, but it goes beyond that into how themselves they're protecting their own selves and then the clients who come here to buy from them. I'm going to start the conversation here with this woman who sells the grains, maize. Good morning, madam.
Fine morning.
That's what we are about. The dream to send there.
Yamia Dumaya Pa.
Me that's so make us. Now, me buy me who say Ubia Shani Max and Ubia Tito, but me who say Bimu cry Max ne share one body. I said, Ubi no work aside, so Moshe Max.
Me patron me say, bear free last week, and I municipal assembly for no day van. A bear announcement to say, Yari and Encoy. Say a fair cry na for France or Asaba. Enti wamo sreyen dwedifoɔ no bia bedwoma ɔnhyɛ ne nose mask ɔmbɔ modin so ɔbɛhyɛ efiri sɛ yɛyɛ aniamo ho na aban kasa waka no yɛmu a ɔmo bɛtwe aso nti frimra ɔmo van ne bɛyɛ announcement ne deɛ obia hyɛ ne nose mask wawu de wani twedwani mu a yɛhyehyɛ ɛde bɔ yɛn ho ban efiri yare animu efisa ye de yenim sa na yare no etie.
So you're hearing her tell me that it's been about a week or so that the municipal assembly within the area came to the market in a van with an announcement van urging and cautioning all of them to wear their mask when they come to the market. That essentially is a reason all of them, as you're seeing your shorts, are wearing their masks. But Senator I said Max no one part of it say bako ka yehwe say sena ye dada no March and April last year no say ebia dwedini wo nkanka wo ne mami ka ene oba na ochina ono so aba na wo mba and also ye ne say enye.
Okay, say dia ye no ye ni option na yare na asem no ye nhye da nim yare no ne ban na me say ye mpanyifo na enim sane a wo mo hu no ye yetete say and I share news so who and see kunkum crofo and so I'm no dream young kwan first na no mo say bia and nema ba ochina ma me man ebe boa me nkwa me de me gidi say me ni hu asem boni bi efri se me hu ya minim ni amenya se bia me pre me hu na de bia me wodwa mu na bia emfa hoden mame na bia de osaya na yare bi beti abechime na ma mintimi medwom ana bia ebechime na bia mewu na mensa mebiom na saban mu mpanyifo tena asese bia ma ba nne ochina ma memma na no na ebeboa ma hoden dia So
you're just hearing her tell me, that for them it's their health and safety that they are most concerned about. And so if the experts assess the situation and the best option is for them to run a shift system, they do not have any qualms at all. I don't know if this woman would agree with her. Mommy, Machu. Say Boko. Na there kase me hu se obi a hye marks no de a shame crime pan. Na so enka ye hwese enka e bia wo beba ne chena wo mba. Se ne be ya join mu no enkrofo na wu mu no so bete a. Se anka no so ye wana.
Eye pa ma me se anka obi beba na chena obi so beba de a me de manage hu pa se anka emra ne sa.
Etika o hwa anka yenya ne sa ma.
Anka yenya ne sa ma ye.
Say ne be am betumi oba na a nanka ebia mehwe 1-2 tables no bia ni ho nanka third one mum na bi wo say ne be betumi nya space ah
me panisa sanka ebe yesa eye nyina ye ho be ha ye na yare no so ebetumi afiye so
Great. So it seems to be, a consensus, if you like. The voice is almost unison here at the Malata market. I'll move over to this side. Perhaps they may have different opinions about the conversation that we're having. And speak to this lady here. No fear no joga. E drama kemo bo na we. Ninu aka ori gan se. Ake jala mi be hela esan ewe he no. wo boni we no akwani emi na ke mo fiama wo nose mask ni bi shi ke me asima shi bangmene ke wo iba koni anye a check be me ni yo jala no
sister ko bai.
Okay, so ofana mi ke wo crab ari because le hu iba jala mi ko shi wanyo no ke me ari ake ke me ne wo ba wo mo ko ba na kan hi.
Okay, kan me ne ba
ke me no ba wo ba koni mo ko hu aba koni gbe me ni yo jala mi ameno achi.
Wo bien le wo ye ni ne social distancing ye bien e wo e dromo na o ba kwa no fia no afefan ya wo ye channel o mi mishishin wo kan ka ba mo kwa ba wo bien le e ba hin na kan e dromo na wo ye ojugba ye bie bon choko ko e wo na gashi wo mi e dila ye bie fine e wo na kan mi misumole
wo na ke ye ni jala e wo ashile na ke no
ashile na ke no wo ba hin wo ba hin ojugba
Great. So you heard her tell me that for the spacing in the market, particularly at the Malata market, as you can see, almost, well, it's not up to 1 meter, at least per my own estimation as I'm looking at them. But you have some, considerable spacing between the various sheds, which essentially gives an indication that, they are observing to some extent the social distancing protocol as has been recommended by the health experts. She says that, well, let's leave it just as it is with the level of spacing they have in the markets. That's okay, they can deal with that. But what does this woman also think? Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you say join mono obi ayade obi ahye max na so ase mo ben kakra ntika ene oba na nka chena wamma e be unia so betumi aba na nkofo no mo wo join mono so ate se sa de enke be ejuma
o se ha no spaces wa omunta ama se kwanda na me nkwa mete ya tu se kwanda nti betumi ahwe ma yan so anama se mbaka ne fa
It's a in Janisa.
Say, Moon Pessy, a bomb. Only the all spaces here. What's the kind of them? They had John and yet a must be brave. This is a more colonial idea. And they had a quantity.
One cast I was shy. I mean, Yariano and Bo, who said, be a Debiano power story about Jimonosano and Bo.
I must mention those masses. Into intimidation. Into Santazan, so they be a bit of romance.
And so I almost said Mama V, but Gifty and Nimo back in the studio. I mean, you're getting a picture of sort of an increased level of compliance to the protocols as have been recommended by the health experts. You're seeing them wearing their nose masks, and they are doing so with the knowledge that is going to protect them from contracting the virus. Well, they seem divided along the lines of the suggestion for us to run a shift system. For some of them, the spacing in the markets suffices really for the reason that you want to run the shift system. For others also, it's a good suggestion that will increase the ability to stay away from contracting the virus. So if you're, I'm sure you're hearing me from here at the Malata market in Accra. This really is the situation.
Well, thank you very much. But I like the way you position your spectacle on the mask to prevent it from falling off. It makes you look like a DA primary school head teacher, and I like the look. But I'm really excited to hear about the development. He's laughing. So hear about the development in the Malata markets. Now, the last time Manuel went there, they were like, Corona, and Manuel is saying something.
Yeah, for us who wear the lens, when you wear the mask and you breathe out,
I know it clouds up the glasses.
The vapor sort of clouds the lens, and so you are able to see.
Explain,
yes, actually. And so we have to put it up there so that we can see well. That's the explanation.
That's why I have mine off. That's why I have mine off. But he didn't need to explain.
Bring the alasa, Manuel. Bring the alasa.
She's passionate about the alasa. But you still look like a DA, District Assembly.
I'll bring you alasa.
Primary school head teacher. Thank you very much, Manuel, with that report. from the Malata market. The last time he went there, the traders had this perception that corona was gone, and of course it feeds into the national conversation that we've had, where people thought that we lay down our guards, and right now it looks good. It looks good in Malata market.
Yeah, it does. So we're happy to see that. I hope that it's like that across all the markets. Yes. Malata by nature is not overly congested.
Okay.
Already. So
it's easy to make that adjustment.
It's quite easy to make that adjustment. And you never really go there and find that there's scores and scores and scores of people. So people kind of trickle in and out. So it's a good it's good to see that. But exactly, those are the really hectic ones that I'm worried about. And also the people who are praying on the park. So last night I was going home after showing Esasi, and here were like 45 people in a circle praying. I'm like, hey, so people haven't heard that there's COVID
and that there's a new variant.
Exactly, but and they weren't wearing nose masks as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just be careful out there, please. We're taking a quick break, and when we come back, we will go into the baby theft conversation. Stick and stay with us, don't go anywhere.
And I'll urge you to share your stories with us. Do you have any experience? The WhatsApp number will be there so you can share.
Welcome back. This is the AM show, and 11 suspects, including doctors, nurses, social welfare workers, and traditional birth attendants and mothers, are currently in police custody, aiding investigations for being part of a baby trafficking syndicate. This operation was a collaborative effort between IOCO and the Medical and Dental Council. I have Manuel Cransing's report for you.
It's 7 a.m. on the morning of 31st December 2020, the last day of the year. As many people prepared to bid farewell to one year and welcome another, somewhere at the Tema General Hospital within the Tema metropolis, a baby was about seeing the last of his biological mother. In motion on that fateful day was a sale of a 1-month-old baby boy by an organized baby selling cartel. This syndicate is made up of several people, including doctors, nurses, and social welfare officers, among others, all of whom are entrusted with the responsibility of providing assistance to mothers and their newly born babies. Their operations had been on the radar of the Medical and Dental Council for a while, and today, the council has teamed up with the officers from Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, to foil one of such illegal transactions. The Connect, Leonard Able, an officer at the head office of the Department of Social Welfare, had already taken 10,000 Ghana cedis as a deposit for the baby, who he was selling at 28,000 Ghana cedis from a woman in need of a baby, not knowing she was an undercover officer with IOCO. The JoyNews team was embedded in the operation and filmed from a distance as Mr. Able went to collect the baby and accompanied the female undercover officer to a vehicle. This was a point of arrest. Leonard Able was arrested and the baby retrieved. On-site interrogations revealed Mr. Able was not alone. His accomplices, a nurse only identified as Nancy, and the head of the social welfare at the hospital, also referred to as Auntie Doris, had heard of the arrest and immediately bolted.
I've called her several times, but she's not picking up, so I keep on calling. I don't know what to do.
What is her name? What is her surname? There's a woman who left in the car, in the taxi.
She left in the taxi?
Yes. They gave money that I should go and pay them.
Okay, so what's the evidence that you paid?
Oh, so the woman said that.
Which woman?
Nancy said that she had done adoption before. And she said that she had somebody, she has a baby, an abandoned baby here. Doris said she had an abandoned baby here. You get me? So I should assist her in the baby is there. Somebody, if we have somebody.
Not even a call from the medical director of the facility could get them to return.
Can you come right away to my office? The General Hospital, Director's office. Yes. 1 hour's time.
The entire morning went by with the arrested suspect pleading for mercy as he sent the team on a wild goose chase from one facility to the other in search of his other accomplices.
Yes, but the way my name, my this thing, I beg you. Help me, I beg you.
Yes. So
help me.
I'm asking.
Can you go help me?
They give you money. They give you money. Did you take any money?
They give money that I should go and pay them.
Okay.
The day ended with one arrest as the task force worked other leads to effect more arrests. For JoyNews,
Heartbreaking story there, absolutely heartbreaking. And we're interested in how you feel watching it and if you've experienced anything like this as well. Text us. Gifty, do you have the WhatsApp numbers?
We'll share the WhatsApp numbers.
We'll share that in a bit. But let's go on Zoom and speak to Dr. Divine Banibala. He's the acting registrar for the Medical and Dental Council. We also have Leonard Akon, Communications Director, International Justice Mission. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hello, Yao. If you are listening, we can't hear.
Okay, we're going to try and fix that. Can you hear us now? Hello, good morning. Can you hear us now? Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Doc, let me start with you. How did this whole story come about? Do you want to take us through from the beginning?
Yes. So you will understand that in the media, and there have been general concerns and suspicions, people have also complained to us severally that sometimes when they do go to hospitals, and especially pregnant women, they have a baby, and then they say the baby is diseased, and then there are situations where they say we can't, but we didn't see the baby, or we have already buried the body, and it raises a lot of suspicion for really ethical professional practitioners who just want to do their best to help humanity. And so as a generally, as a profession, this has been a concern and conversations have been had. But these matters are difficult to establish. We have had some of the cases come before us and you adjudicate on the matters based upon the facts before you. And yet there may still be doubts as to whether in some minority of cases, will this be true? May it be true? Will it be true? And so we started planning as part of our regulatory mechanism. We have monitoring and undercover surveillance that we do. And at that point, we had to plan based upon the guidance of the board. We planned to undertake investigations, undercover investigations, to come to a conclusion as to whether or not we have some miscreants in the profession who are creating this kind of difficulty for everyone. Then in February last year, luckily a dutiful taxi driver who picked two women to what we now know today as Susan Clinic actually went in there with two women. And just in about an hour or so afterwards, the women returned with a fresh baby. And based upon the conversations, as he was listening, he suspected that the circumstances were suspicious. And he dutifully then notified Yoko. He dutifully then notified Yoko he dutifully then notified Iyoko, and then Iyoko wrote to us sometime in March. So when we saw Iyoko's letter, our plans were already far advanced. So then I caused an invitation to be made, and they responded dutifully, and we met, and we came to the conclusion that this was an opportunity for us to pool our expertise and resources together and take what is now one of the most successful collaborations between state agencies to deal with what is a social cancer in our system. And these are the fruits that we saw yesterday.
Okay, Doc, just for clarity and for the mothers to be who are watching and families, when you go into the labor ward and you have a baby, what's the procedure if you lose the baby? Is it normal and acceptable procedure that the baby is buried without your consent? Or is that the point at which some sort of alarm must be raised?
So, a number of things. And I want to emphasize this because it's important for, our core regulatory agenda. At the root of it, in accordance with professional regulatory best practice, is to assure public confidence and trust in the profession and its professionals, and public confidence and trust in the healthcare system, and to assure public health, safety, and well-being. Now, because of the assurance component, the healthcare system has protocols for dealing with persons who may have lost, for the specific circumstances we are dealing with now, their child, newly born child. And those protocols definitely include handing over the baby to the family. It is the family that determines what may be done in accordance with their beliefs, in their values, in their customs. And sometimes those policies, because they are socio-culturally appropriate, will also recognize in certain instances where people's personal beliefs and values or cultures say that you deal with the baby for us. There's rigorous processes. So one of the fallouts of this will be to encourage the healthcare system, having looked at ourselves and found these gaps, to ensure that those protocols are dutifully enforced. So once you get into a health facility, the health facilities have internal policies dealing with when you lose a loved one, be it an adult or a child, and in this specific circumstances, a baby.
Right. Let me bring Leonard into the conversation. Leonard Akron is the communication director for IJM. And Leonard, we know that you work closely with the police to rescue children who have been trafficked, especially on the Volta Lake and other areas like that. When you heard this story, how did it make you feel? Was it a foreign concept? Having babies being stolen at that age. I know that you're more familiar with a little older children, maybe not babies, but how did it make you feel?
I mean, for me, it's very heartbreaking, and I'm not entirely surprised about this, but it's very heartbreaking because I have heard in the past about such issues happening where some mothers do not see their babies after birth. So, I mean, I personally have heard about those things before in the past. And so I wasn't so much surprised about this. And this speaks to volume about the fact that many more people are being trafficked currently, but it's not coming to the limelight, so we don't know. So although government, the law enforcement agencies are doing a lot to address this problem, it is still ingrained within our society, and it is happening with a lot of impunity. So I would say that probably just sort of the tip of the iceberg. I think that there is more to it that is happening in that country. Because, I mean, talk about rural areas where there isn't much visibility. Those things are really happening in those areas. And because there isn't much visibility, they get away with it. So it's heart-wrenching. It's really disappointing. And all of us must put our hands to the wheel and sort of help get rid of this.
I do believe that this is something that used to happen a lot. I mean, this is something that has been with us for some time, because I remember the movie Baby Thief.
Baby Thief, yeah.
Yes, it certainly seems to have a bearing. And I'm sure it is something that used to happen in the past. But I just have this question for you, Doc. The taxi driver who made this report to Iyoko, what happened to that particular baby? Because I assume he reported after he had dropped off the women.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, that baby we could not trace. However, it gave us a lead as to one of the sources of babies. And that is what led to us getting the first baby bought at a Susan clinic. So we commend the taxi driver for his observation and for taking his civic responsibility duties very seriously. We will recommend that to every Ghanaian, because regulation is a collective matter. And unless members of the community, members of the general public are able to give us information, we on our own cannot be in every home, in every community, in every hospital. But what I think is the assurance I want to give is that being the lead, arguably the lead professional regulator in the healthcare sector, we take issues of professional accountability seriously, issues of institutional accountability, and that is why we are ready to go at all lengths and to make sure that persons who are errant practitioners or criminals who happen to be professionals, we act collectively to weed them out of the system. In fact, the events of yesterday and today actually should assure the public confidence in the healthcare system that we are prepared to ensure that we hold our own accountable at all times. And therefore, this is supposed to encourage people and assure them that go out there, go give birth in any hospital. And if something goes wrong, we have somebody who is predisposed to doing the wrong thing. You have an accountable system, an accountable health sector regulatory agency or agencies who will act on behalf of the people. Remember that it is important that every regulator, a professional regulator, you not only concentrate on the technical competence of your professionals, but you must also deal with issues of conduct that is unbecoming of members of that profession. Ours is an old, traditional, noble, truly learned, honorable profession.
Right.
And therefore, there are key values that have crystallized over the centuries.
Doc, can I come in here?
Professing to be part of that profession are supposed to hold.
Yeah, I just want to ask this question about the Susan, is it Susan Clinic or Susan Hospital, which you say is source. Yeah, it's one of the sources of the baby theft problem. What is going to happen to them? Because you're talking about regulation. And so I want to come in with that question. What is going to happen to this particular hospital? Or are we just fishing out the individuals within the hospital? But what processes existed in the hospitals to ensure that some of these things don't happen? Help me if the question is a bit ignorant.
All right. So a number of things. The mere fact that one person in a health facility has done something wrong does not mean that the whole facility should be closed. However, in the specific circumstances of Susan Clinic, we have a sister agency called the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency. But part of our regulatory activities, when we arrested him, we also checked to see the registration and licensing status of the facility. This facility, it has been established from the facts available to us that it was not registered and therefore licensed to operate. In that circumstances, the facility is closed down.
Wow.
And we are working to make with HIFRAT and then YOCO to make sure that that happens. Then in the case of Dr. Latte's hospital in the Dangbe Community Hospital, we are also taking steps to ascertain its registration and licensing status. And if it is established that it was not also registered and licensed in accordance with the details of the Health Facilities Regulatory Agencies Act of the 2011 Act 829, then that will also, I have no doubt, will be closed down on account of public health and safety grounds. So that is what can happen in the institutions.
We'll be getting, Leonard, your thoughts on this. But Doc, I just want to find out, where is the baby? Yesterday, I asked this question, whether or not, what happens to the baby? Do we know the parents?
The babies, yes. As you will imagine, the babies are in our custody.
The babies, not a baby.
No, they are babies. Because there's one baby we bought at Susan Clinic, and we bought another one that was from Dangbe Community Hospital that was delivered to us in Tema General Hospital. Wow. So there are two baby boys that are in our custody, and we are taking care of the babies. In fact, one of them was determined to have been a preterm baby, and we have gotten the best pediatricians in the country to take good care of them. We have opened up what we will call weighing cards for the purposes of the lay persons that may be watching us and listening. And so they are taking their immunization. We have put them on their right immunization schedules. And then we have 24/7 care providers that are taking very good care of the babies. We are working together with YOCO to have the babies properly transferred into the custody of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection under the Social Welfare Department, so that the babies would then be taken care of for the time being as the wards of the state.
That means we don't know, we haven't been able to trace their parents.
Not exactly. We have been able to trace both mothers, but to the extent that we have not been yet able to trace their fathers, then that statement is half true. But the fact is that we have been able to trace a parent each of the two boys, in this case, the mothers.
Okay. Well, that's hopeful, and we're grateful for that. It gives us a lot of hope. But let's speak to Suweiba Abdul Mumin. Her baby went missing at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital on February 5th, 2014, and this became a national issue. Till today, she dreams about her child and wants the law to deal severely with baby stealing syndicates arrested in Tema. She spoke to Mohammed Nuruddin.
Me say 7 years ni am ko wo Konfanochi. Me ko ya me ko wo me ba no en a o mo say me ba no wu o mo fa funu ma me so ai funu e be kai ne 7 years me sanka me ba no me sanka me ba no funu enti de bia me to a na ye me ti say me ba no wu ye wote ase enti me kai na me wura wo say amama wo na chi kura na chi 1st April na akola no ono so benya 4 years enti me pacho baby me ba ne hye nyankopo enyi na edi enkyere me afise me ba na asem wo makoma mu pa de bia me ka me ba na ase me kai pa me kai na ntimi na kura ntimi pacho mo a mo di se adwuma yi me pacho me stre wo mo se me ba no wo ti ase a omo ma me sanka ma adi me studa ese me ban ewo me nche telebi wa me sori so ana me hu no efisake ano woni me nche o ne nana ne nche telebi ana me se me ban da me nche me yesi so ana me hu me twenu pa me saso no hu da ye pa omo be ye ko nkran sa omo se ye ko kan wa se me ye ko nkran de bia e di akwani aba me ne me wofa eni mase eni me kunu nkrofo eni me brother se no your friend is saying oh Brazil or Munina na ya ba mo si na ma share date ye kwa de bia e kire asama mo be ka kire last asama ya rewo sempa mo si e betimi ayemfa Konfanochi en court ye we sky de be confirm be court or feel one as some edani foolish keys. Doctors for now moody said you man woman na some crofon now almost now some year to me out to almost me ma wo shedding if you say adie ya pa etuwa ya antuwa na won say ebia anka wonti enye ya na ya enti me ma wo shedding pa enti doctors no so a mo di say adwuma no omo nyai a omo so anto omo a ebeba betu omo busuafo ni bi efise aduoma na omo ye na enye omo nsusan omo suban na omo akoto no obi ba na omo agisika kakra na omo adaka mu ye ya nyinsa ye babo su me nkono akowo ewia ya hwere ya de na mo ma akwagisika ye nim sika ni di ana ye disika na se edaka FM a enya na mo ma tam ye ma akoto na mo de daka akese mu ni mo busuafo na mo di sika no mo nsisa mo suban enye sa nyankopo na betua mo kaba ako doctors for na mo di sa adwuma no
na se achieve
mo eni emfa mra no eni wo mo ye de mra ni di o ma me de na anka mo ma doctors ye de mra ni di o mo atwichi o mo tu mu a anka other doctors no mo ansa anye side o mo ansa anye we so aya chi wo mo no so mo be de mra kwan so be di wo mo di a anka be ye me de pa e chi na other doctors no mo so nsa anko di sa adwuma wi media na eba ye ni de Ghana fo o mo adie ho abobo me nua mo me sisters me ma me wofa obi okra woni me na nsa kura ebia me ko baby a esi sister we na ya wia ni ba mo si we ya asam masem na eyi amanfo arewo pa ebi okra wo mu nim me but asam na mo ti a eye o mo ya pa ya obi a obeti masem a me ba woni nche bia nyankopon kana koma na wansamfa me ba mre me na me so me hu me ba se wote ase nko ana wonwu ya na me so me hu me ba ewo manim na me so makoma nto me me da matimi ada na woni nua ba edi agro kama se ni nua ba 4 years first April na wono so anya 4 years pepepe
enti so se say no anko no ewo we se anko so how many
anko was 7 years 7 years or 4 years
And that's the story of Suweba. Heartbreaking to carry a baby for 9 months and go through labor and delivery and have that baby taken away from you. It must be something that you probably may never recover from. We continue to pray for strength for her and, of course, keep the hope alive that maybe one day she'll be reunited with her children. Talking about reunions, let me just come to you, Doc, quickly. And Leonard, I'll talk to you about reunions because I know that with the work that you do, getting children off the Volta Lake and reuniting them with their families is an integral part of the healing process. And that's very important. So I'll come and talk to you about that in a second. But Dr. Banibala, what is the plan for bringing the mothers and the children back together? Is it something that's going to happen very quickly? Or is it something that has to go through a long line of bureaucracy because of the way this situation has panned out?
Thank you very much. I think that because it's a subject of investigation, the specific facts have to be established. If it turns out that the mothers were victims of exploitation, then of course I will imagine that through the processes down the line, the appropriate state institutions will ensure that the children are reunited. However, if the mothers were willing participants or what we will call accomplices, then the dynamics will change. It will depend upon whether or not we are able also to trace their fathers. And therefore, because remember that in this business, we have different levels of parenthood. And therefore, I will leave it like that. So we cannot make conclusive statements about reunions now.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that the second mother, who is a 17-year-old senior high school student, so that's the nature of that. So we are yet to establish who the father is. And if it is determined that under the circumstances, with the welfare principle the best interest of the child being concerned, child is better managed by the family unit or managed by the state as the ward of the state. Those determinations will be made by the appropriate bodies. But just to make a small point about Sueba's comments, I think that I share in the frustrations, the emotions, the pain, and the unfortunate circumstances surrounding that. But I do know that her case was a subject of ministerial inquiry. And I think that we cannot be, because we have arrested people today, engaged in the business of selling babies, does not presuppose that those were the specific facts that happened in her circumstances. And therefore, we have to be careful not to confuse the facts and therefore begin to draw what will not be proper comparison and analysis. But I think that it's an important thing to bring this into the public domain so that we understand the extent of public frustrations and concerns. And that is the motivation for us as a professional regulator in the healthcare system to ensure that we test our quality assurance systems to ensure that system continues to be responsive to the felt needs of us as a people of Ghana, and also respects our dignity and our rights as human persons. Because I've always said, anytime a healthcare system loses its care, it's not fit for purpose.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Banibala. So, Leonard, from your experience, and we'll finish off with this, from your experience, how important is it for the reintegration or the reunion of parents with their children, just in the for the healing process, and also as a way of giving hope to people who may be temporarily separated from their children?
Yeah, so depending on the ages of the children involved, so with this, these are babies, but if they were, say, children from 5 years going who can actually speak, usually these children are important witnesses in the trial process, especially if the case has been prosecuted. So first and foremost, it's important for social workers to trace the family or trace the community where the children were actually trafficked from or harvested from, and then do an assessment of the family just to be sure that the family is capable of taking care of the children. And also, if the family is not culpable, then of course that process will progress from that level. But if the family is culpable, just like Doc said, then they are also going to be prosecuted in the case. And in that case, they will continue to stay in a care home for a long-term period. But it's important that at the end of the day, children are reintegrated into a community setting. Ghana and many other countries, we are moving away from keeping children in shelter spaces for long term, because that doesn't help the growth and the development of the child. So in the interest of the child, if the court processes and the trial processes are over and the family is not culpable, it's always best to reunite the child with the family. But that must also go with some sensitization and some training for the family and the community as well, in terms of having eyes in the community that would also provide protection and care for this child.
And also, of course, psychological support for the children, especially if they're older, and also for their parents, because this is very traumatic, especially for children who are developed enough to realize what has gone on. Let me go to Gifty for some messages.
Well, just a few messages. This one says, may God help Ghana. I'm extremely happy that the police and the media are on top of the investigations into this ugly spectacle. I urge the police to do more in unearthing other persons connected with the issue. Kelly Blamy sent that from Keta in the Volta region. This one says, just a second. Yeah, this one says Ghana Health Service. No, hold on. Okay. So just when you start to read the messages and this one says Ghana Health Service needs to start working hard because we have so many fake doctors and nurses. This one said he doesn't have any experience like this, but he thought that it only existed in movies until he came across the story of the doctors and nurses being arrested for baby theft. Raymond from Ho
That's a tough one, yeah. Well, thank you for all your messages. We're very, very grateful. And thank you as well, Dr. Banibala and Leonard Akon, for sharing your morning with us. Thank you so much. And thank you for the good work that you've done. We're going to take
Thank you very much for having us, and thanks a lot for the support. We are grateful.
All right. Thank you, too.
Together, we can achieve the best for this country.
Indeed, we can. Thank you so much. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, Caddy brings us the showbiz news.
Good morning, you're welcome to the showbiz segment right here on the AM show. My name is Kadi. Now, many have said that everything about his works had to do with hype, with many calling him Dada BDJ because they believe he had it easy getting into the industry. Now, responding to all of this, DJ Varasky has stated that a lot of people did not see his struggles before the limelight. Now, he has been sharing more about his life before fame in this interview with Doreen Avio.
I always told people that if I was a white kid, I would have been smarter. Because I mean, sometimes the only thing that hurts me is I didn't capture some of the moments before I became Varasky. Okay. I could have had that on maybe a camera or something. Because I mean, people got to know me when I became Varasky, but they didn't get to experience the struggles. Like, I mean, I'm choosing my words carefully here. Yeah. That's why I'm like, they just see you as, some dadaba boy that's just got opportunity to play for these brands you're mentioning about. And he's Varasky because of that. But they didn't get to experience me with Miss V in Sunyani. Me turning up shows in the northern region, in the Volta region, playing for crowds. So this is what happened. When Miss V started her career, I mean, she didn't have a lot of songs. I mean, she was just starting. So when we go on stage, we have like maybe 20 minutes to rock the crowd. But then you calculate the songs and the artist has.
You know the reach.
You don't go much. So I would turn up the crowd with Sheldon. So that is all part of the show. Okay. So I mean, that even helped me learn how to turn up people like concerts and all that. So I have a session where I come and turn up the crowd with other people's songs. When I'm done, when I leave, then Vera comes on. So we won't even announce it. So when I'm done, I
just comes in.
So the hype is everything. So I got to play a lot of shows outside. So a lot of people got to know that who is this boy turning up crowds and all that, which helped me. But people didn't see all these things. People didn't see my time of me playing at Rapport, where I played at a Pelogo. And after that, I trained for like 3 days in Rapport. Wow. They didn't get to see all those things. You get it? So, I mean, the people that followed Varasky from day one, when they are talking about me to people are like, why did they hype the guy like that? Because they didn't get to see all these things. You get it? So, what they got to know about was me playing for the MTNs, me playing for
the Vodafone.
Yes.
And all of that.
So I always say that you see the way you think you are struggling. Don't see me as a dadaba. I've gone through that phase because when I started, it was all about playing music for me. I wasn't even about the money because back home, I was supposed to be a corporate boy.
Now, away from that, Afro dancer act Akiana has revealed that she only continued with her education to make her father happy. Says she wanted to concentrate solely on music, but now shares that she's glad she made that decision.
An air hostess. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to do when I completed high school. Where my daddy was like, initially he wasn't in support of the music, so I was hiding and doing it.
Is it because of the kind of music or you being a musician in general?
He was looking out for me because he knew the vultures in the industry. People just want to find opportunity to take advantage of you, and he didn't want that. He liked the fact that I was doing music, but he didn't like the fact that I was going to do it full time. He wanted me to do something for myself. So that's how come I even went to school in China. And that's because I wanted to make him happy, so I had to go to school and then come back and continue.
So you only went to school because you wanted to make your father happy? Not because... Is that what you're saying?
No, not really. If it was left to me, I'd just do the music. you know, full time and not even think about school, because trust me, school is very good, right? But I'm not gonna when I want to make money, I'm not gonna sit somewhere and then I don't think a school that can fetch you the amount of money that you actually need.
You think music is going to get you the money that you need?
Not music per se, even trading. You understand? Fine, trading involves school, like the mathematics and all that. But I feel like, to me, the way they've put it in our head, they've made us feel like if you don't have a degree, you're not going to get money. If you don't have a degree, you can't make money. That's the perception they've put in our head, and I don't buy that. So I was living my life according to the fact that I'm not going to get a degree, but I'm going to make money.
Okay.
And my dad was like, "You're stupid." So he was like, "It's either you do this or you just stop coming home, go to school." And so I decided to just go to school, and it actually helped me though. But yeah, it actually helped me though. Just that I wasn't really happy like how I wanted to be happy, but I still did it, and here I am.
Okay, so that was Akiana on that one. Says that she only went to school to make her father happy. And that's what we have for Showbiz for this morning.
I have my own thoughts about that, which I want to express right now.
Which we thank God for. That's
well, I think you should go to school. Go to school and sing.
There was no way you were not going to express your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely
no way.
Yeah, she has to go to school. Please, if you won't go to school, it's okay. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Let other people go to school. Encourage them. That's my thoughts.
And that's Gifty Ando here on the AM show. Yes, telling all of us off. We will go to school.
Yeah, we will.
Yes, we will.
It's important. It's important. All right, have a great day, all of you.
Yes. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with News Desk.
And I am back at 3 o'clock with the
pulse. Yes,
the pulse.
A very busy women.
My name is Gifty Ando.
Anymore. Join us again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.